Well, it's another day out here in Bryson Yard, Railroader. We're over by the shop. And there's something fun behind the stall door here. Check it out. Let's bring this thing out. This thing is so cool to see. That's right. What's up, guys? This is Heist. We're playing Railroader today, taking a look at a little bit of a modded locomotive showcase. We have the Reno, I guess. Of course, for the ES&DT, as you do. But let's get this thing out and take a quick look at it. This is one of the first mods for the game that you can go download right now. And I gotta say, the locomotive is gorgeous. It adds a lot of flavor of early railroading to the game. Obviously, the equipment that's in Railroader itself is set in much later era, kind of transition era Appalachia. But this locomotive is a model replicating a 440 from the Virginia and Truckee. And I, honest to God, was just guessing. I think it's based on the Reno, which is why I said, I guess. But I don't honestly know. Oh, and if you wanted to know how to actually install the mods, you just gotta download Unity Mod Manager, which is on Nexus Mods. Make sure it's of a high enough version that Railroader's in it. Make sure it knows where your Railroader folder is. Then you go to the mods folder, and then you just drag and drop the zips in. You need asset loader for the locomotives to work. And then you just drag and drop the things for the 440 right there. And then as long as it says okay, you're good to go. It's just that easy. This mod was put together by user Greninja on Nexus Mods. And it's really easy to install things. Railroader is kind of updated to the way that Jural Valley has been set up for a long time, where you just drag and drop stuff into Unity Mod Manager, and there's actually a whole bunch of stuff over on Nexus Mods that you can add to the game. And we're going to be taking a look at some of these things week after week. I'm kind of thinking, you know, we'll do a little playthrough, do a little look at mods the next week. This is the first Steam Locomotive mod for the game. And it's been out for a little bit here, but of course we were taking a break from all video game things on the channel. But now that we're back, I've been dying to take a look at some of these things. This model was made by Daniel Gallery, and I did confirm that, yeah, it is actually made from, as the Reno, as its prototype, from the Virginia and Truckee. So it is a pretty early 440, and a very, very exquisite one to look at that. These locomotives are simply beautiful. One thing that's kind of fun about the mod is that you can go ahead and customize it and change the color of the boiler, which, you know, there's any option in the world, which means you can do some very obnoxious choices, or you can do something slightly, well, that's still pretty obnoxious. There's probably a very tasteful color to get this set to, I imagine, but I haven't played around with it yet myself. Just kind of a, oh goodness, what color is Russia iron? Something like that, vaguely, maybe. But it's a beautiful locomotive, and it's really cool to see in game because, I mean, it really represents a very different period of railroading, which means that you know, if that's your thing and that's what you enjoy in the game, now you can kind of experience that as well. So it's pretty cool. So we're gonna take it out and play with it a little bit, maybe run a quick job here or something. We're just in sandbox, so there's not much in, goodness. Apparently it'll wheel slip too. I wonder if that's part of the mod setup as well, but definitely a cool locomotive. So we'll try and figure out how to run a job in sandbox. I've never actually set that up myself. And maybe we'll just run a cute little passenger train or something and kind of enjoy taking a look at this thing. All right, well, we've got a nice little passenger train put together with the older looking open platform cars. And so that sets a nice scene here in the early morning as we're ready to start departing Bryson and heading on out on the line here. So we're gonna do that. Let's get this thing rolling. This locomotive is very small, very punitive. Obviously, I mean, it's an 1872 built 440. Based on what I was looking around, doing a little research, it's actually the second oldest preserved Baldwin 440. and one of many of the VNT engines that stuck around. The Virginia and Truckee was a really, really cool railroad out in Nevada, and had quite the army of 440s. And you ride it to this day. Some of the alignment is preserved, and you can ride it as a tourist railroad. And you ride it to this day, and it's just like, why did you make this railroad standard gauge? What were you thinking? You guys are a little silly. But then they ran these little 440s on it. And so as such, with that, I mean, it's known as in-game as an A12. So very light on the tractive effort, 12,000 pounds, but that's not what this thing's for. It's not for hauling a bunch of tonnage. This is going to be a great locomotive for somebody who wants to play with old school equipment and enjoy a small scale railroad. Crossing, hang on. If you've got, single player sessions, you don't want to manage the entirety of the 60+ mile network here in Railroader, this is going to be a great locomotive to start out with. And it's just so gosh darn pretty. All of the different lining, the striping, everything that's going on with it. I mean, it really is a beautiful locomotive here. And hopefully I will not make it turn into brown. But I really appreciate it for the same reasons that I liked a lot of the mods in Dural Valley too. Sometimes the base locomotives in the game might not match exactly what your prototype is or what sort of railroading you like. So, seeing locomotives like the Penzi Switcher in Dural Valley, or some of the German stuff that Greg Tame made was fantastic, and seeing something kind of Old West and a little bit of West Coast vibe, although of course there are a couple West Coast engines in Railroader already, but something of a little older vintage is pretty cool to see. Yeah. It's got pretty big drivers, and seeing a 440, that's pretty cool. That's very Americana, very well renowned kind of thing. So yeah, goodness. It's cool to see this thing fly down the rails here. It's really a beautiful locomotive, and the actual Reno is actually being restored to operate on the present day VNT, so that's actually going to be really cool to see. It's been out of service for a while, but was historically in a bunch of movies and productions for Hollywood and commercials and all that stuff. So it's a bit of a movie star, a bit of a famous locomotive. I mean, it was probably partially what gave the Hollywood, everyone knows everything as the 440 kind of thing, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a big proponent of that. So, very pretty locomotive, historically a passenger locomotive, and really cool to see in the game. It's really just something different, which is cool. Some of the other mods we're going to be taking a look at are bigger, more modern, that sort of stuff. There's actually F units in the game, which I really want to take a look at soon, but when I messaged Greninja about it, he said he's tweaking some things on them, so before I show those off, he's got a little bit more work to do on those. But those are going to be really cool to see here. So we got that 30 coming up, but we're a passenger engine, so we're going to try and scoot as fast as we can before we get there. This thing does cook along pretty quick. We're almost doing 60 mile an hour. I mean, it's got pretty sizable drivers, but that 30 is going to be on the left. That's going to be the right-hander after this lefty. I don't know if I could do 60 around this though, so we're gonna ease it back here a little bit, let it coast, and then we're gonna take a nice big set as we blitz into the next curve here. Nice thing, I guess, is that it also, because it's so light, it brakes really quickly. Taking a pretty nice set on the train, and it slowed down nice and easy, so we shouldn't become brown moving around this curve here. It is a wee bit silly to have a 5 chime on it, but you guys know how I am. Single note whistles are annoying. It's just a beautiful, beautiful choo-choo. I never really understood the 440 thing until I went out to the Great Western Steam Up and I got to see Reno's sister, the Inyo, operate. I mean, and that's just Such a cool locomotive. Obviously, Reno got a little bit more modernized, eventually got oil burning, and then we got a generator and headlights and all that sort of stuff. But early on, it would have looked pretty much just like Inyo. And those locomotives are just something else to see, because it's not like anything you've ever seen before, unless you're in that space, you know? And it's a little bit of a throwback to the bygone era here, so... Let's see if we can suicide stop at the station. Alright, dump it after the crossing. Will it stop in time? I don't know. Oh my god. It's got brakes for days. Stopped too early, even. Okay, well, I mean, I guess I dumped it. It's not necessarily the best thing for passenger comfort here, so. Alright. We should be transacting passengers, I think. Looks like most everybody wants to go the other way. Well, that's unfortunate. But the people are getting off at Ella. Can continue to stare at this locomotive. That's pretty. It's got the old builder's plate 'cause it's 1872. Little baby air compressor. The passenger bell, which was a fun V&T thing with extra beauty going on, a little extra zhuzh put in all the stuff. 17 bucks for 17 fares. I guess it was one station that we went, so. Let's get this thing on the move here once again. All right. It does slip, and I'm curious. I'll have to chat with Greninja about this, but I don't know if the slipping is part of the mod or something else that I got going on. Because most of the locomotives in Railroader don't seem to wheel slip, so I'm not too certain what's going on there. The 440s are so goofy to look at from a side profile because you really get a good view of the Stevenson valve gear doing the dance underneath. He says, not paying attention to track speed, knowing there's the 30-mile-an-hour curve coming up. It's fine, I got brakes for years, man. There's the 30. Let's achieve that 30 right when we get there. Skirp. Beautiful. Keeping it right on the edge. I know that some of my friends have done end-to-end runs as fast as possible in the game, and some people's time running on that timetable is actually pretty impressive. So I'd be curious to see what the fastest time across the map is. Without derailing, with derailments turned on, of course. Obviously, if you turn off derailments and then yeet down red marble, you might have a different experience, so. Yeah, this thing is just a beaut. Just a pretty choo-choo. Yeah, that was a little spicy quick on that curve. It's fine. We haven't quite gone in the dirt completely yet. We're probably going a little too fast for this one coming up here. Take a nice big set. Kick it off. We'll coast around it. We gotta get around that tree there. It's got branches that are, or roots that are sticking at us, so. That's cool. I'd love to hear what you guys have in terms of what mods you've experienced in the game. If you've got any experience with that down below, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, because it looks like there's a fair amount of mods for like track layout stuff. When I was scrolling through Nexus mods, I was wondering if that could be interesting and how that changes things. And it's neat that folks have figured out how to do that even. So that's got to be interesting, adding more industries or adding different crossovers and allowing for more flexible operations, or more options at least in the operations. So love to know what your guys' thoughts are, if you've played with those mods or if you've just been enjoying the game in vanilla. Oh, that's in the dirt. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, that was, yeah, we flew a little close to the sun there. It's fine. It's fine. Right? It's fine. Oh, Control T. No, it's Shift. Which? God, I haven't played this game in a minute. Shift R. There we go. It's like, why is that not working? Hopefully we didn't name all of our passengers. Not all of them went in the dirt. Just, you know, most of them. Make the hook, darn you. Bang. There we go. Alright, back to our usually scheduled programming. Wasn't too bad, but the locomotive didn't become entirely yucky. Here we go. Leave our train crew member off in the field there. The passenger cars, well, it's doing okay, but it's fine. All right, well, I think we'll pull up here and we'll call it a day for this little mod showcase. Super fun, very cool. Great to see the work done by Greninja to get mods working, and I've heard about all sorts of fun stuff kind of under development. So we'll have to keep a lookout on the horizon to see what else might be coming in the pipeline. So let me know if you guys like to see more spotlights on more stuff that has been added to the game. And as always, thank you so much for watching.